And where are you on that? It was 18,000 somewhere?
2008, repairs and maintenance. You have two funds.
I see it right
One
here.
is an interfund transfer, which is
The interfund's from the M&O group, I think,
That's
right?
M&O.
Yeah, that's for the crews to come over and make those repairs.
What's the upper one?
I should have her answering these technical questions. What did you say it was? Oh, outside services, okay.
So the 189, we had the consultant come in on the ferry.
That's very likely, yeah.
So where is it reflected in here as far as the amount that is expended? Well, that would be, I guess, not showing up, because I thought in 2008, did we have the ferry maintenance, or the dock maintenance taken out already?
No, it's pretty clear in the ordinance that the dock repairs and maintenance are supposed to be a part of the operating system funds. And so they've been that way for quite a while. And in 2008 and 2009, they would have also been included in here.
So what area is that included?
Well, it's a combination of the repair and maintenance interfund, which is where we had our own crews actually doing the repair work, and the repair and maintenance line, which is the 18,563 you were noting initially,
So part of that.
which would be, yeah, outsourced.
Because I
needs.
noticed in 2011, 2012, you only allocated 1,000 for repairs and maintenance for professional. Is that because that's transferred out, or just?
Yeah, if we need it. I mean, we're making our best guess. You know, whether that could easily be 200,000. You never know until something happens. So, at this point, we're giving it our best.
So
we just put $1,000 in there as a placeholder.
So if we were to take the maintenance of the ferry dock and put it into road fund, for example, would that be reflected as a transfer in? No,
it wouldn't even show up on here as repair and operations, because we would be essentially moving that to 100% road fund expenditure. It'd still be tracking it.
That's right. So we have no way of tracking it through here. It would have to just be to show up in the road fund itself.
Well, yeah, that's where it would be paid, and so we wouldn't even have it show up on here as an expenditure.
Well, I know we've had a lot of discussions on that particular issue, as whether it should be part of the ferry fund operations and so forth, or part of the road fund. We already subsidize to the tune of 45% of the operation with road fund as it is.
That's correct.
Which
is plus
amounting,
capital.
at this time, is amounting to over $1 million a year, correct?
Yeah, it is actually more than that.
It's about 1.4 million, and then there's all the capital.
500 residents.
I think it's probably closer to 800 or 900, but still.
That are utilizing the ferry?
Well, they live over there.
Oh, live over there. All right.
Councilmember Brenner?
Well, you can make a subsidy sound like anything you want, depending on how you make the formula. We don't subsidize bridges around the county. We don't call it subsidizing. We call it road fund, which is what it's intended for. And there are other people who do go on and off the ferry to the island. So, you know, we have bridges in very rural areas that probably don't get any more use than that does.
So do we spend over $1 million a year on bridges in the county?
I'd say, yeah, probably easy in capital. Maintenance and operations, I'm not sure about, but it's probably hitting on that number, probably in the 600,000 to 800,000 range.
On each bridge?
Maintenance and operations.
For all the bridges, or just?
Well, yeah, I'm talking all. I'm not talking. But we're, you know, if you're talking about replacements and capital and stuff like that, we probably spend average $2 to $3 million just on capital, easy, per year. That's, if you need those details, I'd be glad to get them. But.
And we don't spend that much on the docks per year. And, you know, so you could compare it to a bridge. It would be a little more expensive, but you keep saying we subsidize. it depends on the formula to consider how much of a subsidy we're providing. And if we do it the same as we do bridges, then I can support any formula that, that does that. And I definitely support figuring a way to have some of the organizations on the island provide the needs base. I think that will change the usage of that quite a bit, and I think it'll help us. We never got an answer on that, though. If we can legally do that, I haven't heard any legal answer.
I did, in fact, ask legal counsel about that, and the bottom line was, yes, it can be done. The rest of that opinion was that by the time you took care of all of the auditing requirements for the state auditor and everybody else, it'd probably be cheaper to continue to doing the way you are doing it.
You're kidding.
No. I mean, it's as you essentially evaluate gift of public funds and be careful that you don't violate that. That was the general opinion. So, yeah, it can be done, but if you're looking at it from a financial perspective and administrative cost associated with it, you'd probably be better off just doing it the way you're doing it rather than to pursue that. That's what I got back.
Okay, the
Well,
motion.
I'd sure like to talk to our legal people about that, because I don't see that we do quite a bit of excuse me, I don't know if we call it gifting or what, that we do small contracts. I can't imagine that we spend so much on auditing those small contracts that they're not worth, or we're paying more for the auditing than for what we're doing. So I wouldn't mind getting some more legal information on that.
Motion on the floor is to accept and recommend an ordinance be prepared for option number 6, exactly as presented 2 weeks ago. Councilmember Mann.
A few things. With the needs-based passengers, Mr. Oliver, I'm sorry I'm going to make you get up again, but could we just keep the current folks who have needs-based ticket fares and not add any new ones? And would that save you a lot of trouble or no?
That wouldn't be fair, though.
Well, we heard a lot at our public hearing out there about those needs-based fares and how people really depended on them.
Steve Oliver, Whatcom County Treasurer. I would think there would probably be a basic sense of fairness if you had, if you had something in your ordinance that allowed a needs-based fare, and then you just stopped anyone new from acquiring that fare. I think there may be some issues there. That aside, I mean, whether you agree with needs-based fares or disagree with the concept, I mean, there are some issues related to how we're currently qualifying people for the program that should be reviewed if anything is going to continue.
Okay.
Whether it's passengers, whether it's for vehicles or both, there are some issues that need to be reviewed.
Thank you. All right, my second comment was going to be, one reason I didn't love any of these options is because they were sort of just based on the fare structure before that and the fare structure before that, and we're just doing a blanket percentage adjustment or a surcharge. And I went back and kind of started from scratch, where it was like, okay, well, how much does it cost to run the ferry? How much revenue do we need? How many passengers? What's the rough breakdown? What does it actually cost to take a car or a truck on the ferry and go across? And how much wear and tear? How much space does it take up? How big a vehicle is it? Does it displace other vehicles and other revenue that would be generated? And interest. So when I came up with my formula, and I sent in your email, and I don't know if you had time to look at it, but it actually came out relatively close to option number 6. I like mine a little bit better because I feel like it's not out of thin air or not as arbitrary, and also it has a 15% discount for the bulk, or for the the multi-fare rates. Sort of the other highlights of it are that it's a $5 for a pedestrian versus $6 in option number 6, but it's $15 for a car and a driver versus $12 in option number 6. The other thing I would point out is that motorcycles stay at $5. So I'm just going to try and get a vote on mine before I go with option 6. I don't hate option 6. I like mine a little better because I feel like it's a little more scientifically based on ridership and capacity of the ferry.